All right, go for it.
Happy Monday. If you have kiddos or if you're a teacher, I know we have lots of teachers on the team, you're probably in back to school mode if you aren't already back in school. So happy back to school Monday. Things to look forward to this week. The thing that's blanking my mind, what's that shaky thing? Not shaky. Daily Sunshine. There we go. It came to me. Daily Sunshine is still on sale. Lift 4, Mesta Moss, To Be Mindset, everything still on sale. Beach bars still on sale. That's 5 things. I'm running out of fingers. So keep promoting the crap out of those. There should be one of these fingers that you're using, if not all of them. So promote the crap out of that. You know how successful it is. So use it to your advantage. Really, that's all I got. To Be Mindset Nutrition Certification 2 coming up. So short and sweet. Happy Monday.
Thanks, girl. I don't know, how do I follow up with that? Always. The other thing I was going to tell you guys, if you haven't already seen Flash Sale tomorrow night, 8 to 10. If you don't know about it, get your booty in the team page. Watch my live from this morning. But y'all, this is how we hit Success Club. This is how we share what's going on. So get your little booties familiar with it. And if you guys have questions about it, post them in the team page, post them in your message pods. But it's a great way. Like, so many of my challengers are like, whoa, what is this? I want in on this. So many people that have not been answering me have been like, I want to go to this. So it's your job to go and connect personally, get people on the invite, talk to them about it. The other thing that I've kind of teased in the hub that you may or may not have seen is we're going to do, after Live 4, a little obsessed test group. So I don't know if anybody else is excited about this, but there's kind of that time between finishing Live 4 and when Proving Grounds comes out. So I thought, why not go back to the OG amazing obsession that we love, and I hope y'all are as excited about it as I am. So we'll do a sneak peek to it next week. You guys can plug people into, and we'll talk more about it in the team page. And then we'll kick off after Live 4 is done. So super duper exciting. So I'm going to get right to it. We have, obviously, not just one, but 2 guests tonight. Colleen is somebody that I have known for a couple years, and we go to events together. She has Elizabeth Harkey is her coach, and she's just somebody I've watched, and I've seen her go from like building and hustling and grinding to creating freedom, and now having her first kid and just living the life. She lives in Lake Tahoe, and we've done Success Club trips together and Summit together, and she's just somebody that I've always admired. She's done our team call, I guess it's been a hot minute, like a while ago, maybe 2 years. But she has been through a lot of stuff, guys, and she's figured out how to create just doing it anyways, despite what life throws at you. So I asked her to kind of come on tonight and share a little bit about her story, because I know most of you probably don't know her. And she's going to talk about going from the coach to CEO mindset and how to really take your business from just like, oh, I'm a coach, to really seeing success with it. She's gone elite with her team. I don't know what start time you're at, 7 or 8. You have to correct us. 6, 5? I don't know, but she's a big deal. It does 7. See, that's right. But she knows how to run this business. And so I thought it'd be good to get her on and just let you guys hear from somebody else who has created success and gone from newbie to creating a business. So thank you for being here, and thank you for bringing Nixon on. He's so cute.
I was just going to say, my husband he's in the doghouse. He was supposed to be home like 15 minutes ago. And so I'm going to go put Nixon in his little plaything. And I was hoping, like, while you guys did your little announcements, that Sean would walk in the door. But when I come back, I'm going to share a little blip of my story. So it'll be like 15 seconds. I'll be back. And then I'm going to share with you guys. This is my dino, as you can hear him making his roar noise, which is why we can't have him here. This is my favorite topic because I really think, I think back to when I made that shift from being just a Beachbody coach, feeling like I was in the mix of 450,000 other coaches. And I remember that defining moment of when I saw something different about this coaching opportunity, and it completely changed my perspective in terms of going after business goals and how to grow. So you're back. Sean, where are you? Thank God for containing toys, because so he's probably going to scream his head off until Sean gets home, but that's okay. Okay, so a little bit about me. I don't know how many of you have followed me on social media or how many of you actually know a thing or two about me, but I really like to just kind of start with before coaching and little blips of my story from when I started coaching until now. So I want the majority of this call to be about my passion, like my passion points about going from coach to CEO. But if you guys want to learn more about my story, I actually have done quite a few videos, because most people always at the end say, I want to learn more about your story because it's kind of crazy. So I want you guys to know I went to high school with Liz. That's how I know her. And I remember following her on social media, and I just knew she was doing this thing. And when I saw photos of her, she had that happy, healthy, I didn't know it was Beachbody, but this Beachbody glow that we all know. And she just seemed established and confident. And it, at the time, seemed like she was going through life without any speed bumps. Now, of course, we know that social media makes it look like that. But Liz just has this thing, this edge to her that attracted me to her to reach out. So I did actually work for the corporate world for about 6.5 years right out of college at Verizon Wireless. And back in 2006, when you worked for Verizon, that was a big deal. That would be working for Google or Tesla today. It's like, it was a really big name back then. And so I felt extremely accomplished and proud that I had this salary job out of college, and I was moving up super quick. 6.5 years later, I started to have the itch. I knew that I wanted more with my life. I knew that I crave adventure. If you follow me, you know that I need adventure in my life. So I actually packed up all my things and moved across country from Boston to Northern California without knowing a single soul, packed all my things in one of those shipping pods, and I did transfer my Verizon job. And I ended up working for a horrible person who made my life a living hell. So if there's anyone out there listening that maybe you don't have to hate your job, but if there's just things about your job that make you feel like you're bashing your head against the wall, I feel you, girl. I know that's really hard. And I look back now, and that was my normal. My normal was being tired, unappreciated. People would power trip and walk all over me. And I was such a good employee. I wasn't one of those people that caused problems. I never got written up. But once I started working for this terrible boss, she found a way to tear me down every day. And I remember business people would come into Verizon, and whenever business accounts would walk in, that was a big deal when you were in management, because that means your store would get all these renewals and new lines and things like that. And I was so jealous of these business owners just walking in the middle of the day on their own time, their own schedule. I just loved that appeal of being their own boss. And I just remember being like, well, this is your reality, Colleen. And I just stayed in one lane. And I just thought that was normal to put up with it, because to be honest, my mom and dad still do. My dad just retired at 60, put up with that his whole life. And I didn't want to do that, but I just thought I was supposed to. So a blessing in disguise came my way after many other terrible things happening in my corporate career. I was actually like jerked around in promotions. I was written up for something that was a false accusation. Like, I could have sued Verizon. But when the blessing in disguise came my way, which is I walked into work one day and I lost my job because they downsized the stores. So I'm sure you guys have noticed, like Barnes & Noble closed up a long time ago, a lot of places. There's a lot of supermarkets that are closing, Macy's, like all these huge name stores because of the online world. And Verizon was doing this back in 2011 when I lost my job. They did the same thing. So I walked into this job that I thought was my everything, and I gave my everything. And I was handed a white envelope with not even my name, but a number on it, my employee ID. And they said, here's your severance package. We're sorry your store is closing. And talk about the rug being ripped out from under you. That's exactly what it felt like to me. And when I walked out to my car, hyperventilating, freaking out, because at this time I was 3,000 miles away from my family. Sean and I, my now husband, we actually had broken up for a little bit. And so when I say rock bottom, I truly mean it. I meant like, what else could happen? My grandfather passed away that month. It was just really, really messy for me. And I remember walking out to my car and holding my steering wheel and saying, I'm never going to allow someone, some business or something control my life, my income, my schedule ever again. And I was so angry, and I had no idea how I was going to do that. But this is the type of stuff, the line in the sand, the decision making, the I'm not going back to that life. That's the decision making I'm talking about. So today when I talk about going from coach to CEO, I want you to think of that defining moment that I had, that I wasn't going to go back to the safe corporate world. And it's not that I'm hating on the corporate world. It's just that's not where I want to be. I think about where I want and what I want out of my life, and I've claimed it. And it's not inside a little office or in a store or anything like that. It's just not for me. If you love your job and you love corporate, because there's actually many successful coaches who still work in the corporate world. I know Danielle still does, and there's other like coaches that have been doing this 10, 11 years. Wait, you don't anymore, Danielle. You do? You don't. You do. Okay. For a second, I was like, wait, did I just mess that up? Okay. Never mind. And there's many people who do love it, but for me, it was sucking the life out of me. So I was like, no more. So I reached out to Liz and I signed up. Little kind of side note for you guys. I actually bought a challenge pack from her the year prior and returned it. So can you imagine someone buys a challenge pack from you and then returns it, then comes back to you, wants to sign up again and says, I want to coach. That could be your next elite coach. You never know. I just always have to tell people that because it's ridiculous. I hated chocolate Shakeology and I bought Turbo Fire for $205 and I was broke. So I freaked out when I returned it. And so when I signed up to be a coach, it was another decision for me. I did work part-time jobs until I replaced a specific number in my head. As soon as I got to six figures, I quit my other part-time jobs. But I know what it's like to have to struggle to get through the times and do the bullshit jobs you don't want to get to where you want to go. So don't think that coaching has to be sign up and quit all your jobs and like you're free and whatever. For 2.5 years, I did that grind. But a big thing for me when I went into learning from successful people, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is it's becoming a student. And I would watch what Liz did, and I didn't look at it as, wow, I don't know what I'm doing, or how am I ever going to do what she does? I saw it as, it's time to be a student again. So I've been a freshman, I've been a sophomore in school, and I know what that feels like. It's super awkward. You feel like a fish flailing out of water. You feel like socially awkward, right? Maybe you guys had that feeling, maybe you didn't. I just want you to know that in order to kind of graduate from entrepreneur school, you have to be willing to go through those struggles first. And the business is so different now. When I signed up, there weren't trainings telling me exactly what to do and how to connect on Instagram. And I almost think that coaches have too much information nowadays because they can't just stick to one thing and try it. They're like, I need this diamond push, or oh, I need this Bonnie Engel training, or I need to know what Emily Favre says to people. And to be honest, it's not secretive. All that information is actually readily available to you. So the reason I became obsessed with this topic of changing your mindset of going from coach to CEO is because I wanted to know why more people weren't successful. I was like, something is clearly missing here. So I don't remember if I read this in PD or if I made this up, but CEOs honestly handle things differently. So if you're pushing for diamond and you don't know why you're not there, don't let that stop you. A CEO is going to have the confidence and know that they are going to figure it out. Maybe you hit diamond in 2 weeks. Maybe you hit it in 2.5 years. Everyone's journey is different. I know and believe that personal development plays a huge role in this business. So I came into this business and I was extremely confident. I was extremely ready to take action and move forward. And so personal development was just like this huge boost of excitement for me. And I had no fear about this business. Hence why I hit diamond really fast. And I know some people come into this business really stressed, really broken, really confused, really lacking confidence. And so it takes them time to understand this kind of personal development journey. But everyone can sign up to be a coach. Everyone can sell Shakeology. Everyone runs challenge groups. Everyone can offer a flash sale, right? Anyone can do those things. But the difference is when you start to understand that when your fears, your struggles, your life tragedies, your family life, your self-doubts, CEOs handle all of that differently. So I want you guys to take this opportunity and ask yourself, what is it that's holding me back from not just being a Beachbody coach, but from being a CEO, changing the masses' lives, standing out on social media? It's just a really good self-reflection question of what is holding you back. And to be honest, it might be time. So that's okay too. It's not that something's wrong and that you need to fix anything. I used to think that something was wrong and that I'm a huge fixer. So I had to realize that maybe it is time, maybe it is patience, maybe I do need to dig a little bit deeper and get some physical results. There's a million things that it could be, but just take a step back and be responsible enough to take a look at that. Another thing I want to say about going from coach to CEO is stop resisting the hard. Instagram and the algorithm is always going to trick you, and Facebook is going to drive you crazy, or people will say no, or they'll ghost you. There's going to be all these things. When I widely and openly accepted that that was normal, I went into every day just talking to people and inviting them, and them not answering or opening my message and then unfriending me, or whatever happens. I'm not saying all of those bad things only happen. Amazing things happen too. But I just knew that it would be hard because, going into Verizon every day was easy for me to get in the car and drive and get the paycheck. But it also was extremely hard for me in my life. For me to be my own boss and for me to create this kind of life and to pay this forward to others, it's hard work, but it's always worth it to me. So I got really crystal clear in my vision as a CEO. Why am I coaching? Because this is something I just asked my coaches. I just wrapped up my team retreat and I had some newer diamonds there. And I was like, tell me why you're coaching. And they all fumble with it. They're like, I don't want to help people, or I wanted my family, or I don't need the money, or whatever. There's a million things. If you don't know exactly why you're coaching, it just means you'd have a little bit further to go on your personal development and your vision and your clarity journey. Brendon Burchard is a wonderful mentor when he talks about clarity. I love his high performance habits event. If you have any money to spend and you are a business goal oriented person, get to his high performance academy. Best money you will spend. His book is just as amazing, but his event, it's changed my life and business, and it was all stuff I could apply. No offense to Tony Robbins, but I don't need the rah-rah cheerleader, believe in you, face your fear kind of stuff. I've done that on my own. If you need the face the fear, rah-rah cheerleader, get out there and change your life. Tony Robbins is amazing for that. But I wanted to know, what happens after that? And that's where Brendon Burchard really helped me. Kind of went off on a tangent there. But I just want you guys to know that there's going to be hard things ahead. So for those of you pushing to diamond, I want you to think of, where are you going to be in 5 years? And you're probably like, whoa, how did you just go from I'm trying to hit diamond to where do you want to be in 5 years? Because diamond is totally a stepping stone. Just like signing up is the start of the mindset of changing your life. Hitting emerald is dipping your toe in the pool. And then hitting diamond is really when your business begins, because all your goal is in this business is to duplicate yourself. And diamond is made up of emeralds. So really this business is a duplication of emeralds and a duplication of what you've done. So if you're super close to diamond and you're like, okay, all I did was drink my shake, do my PD, show up on team calls, it is that simple. So our job is to teach other people and to transfer that belief to them that they can do it too. As a CEO, I don't want you to think of yourself as just a Beachbody coach that's helping someone hit diamond. I want you to transfer the belief to someone else that they have the ability to change their life. Oh, I was talking about my tangent. Why are you coaching? And for me, it's genuinely, if this might sound selfish, but I want to live freely, happily, healthily, and teach others how to do the same. That kind of sounds like a blanket statement, but I wake up and I have 3 priorities every day. Number 1 is my family. Typically everyone's is. Number 2 is me, my energy, and my space. If annoying people are around me, they get booted out of my life. I do not allow toxicity to bleed into my life. If you drive me crazy, I will limit my exposure to you if I have to be surrounded by you. You know, like, granted, I have amazing in-laws and parents, but like, let's say that there was like this one person that I can't eliminate, but they have to be there. I make sure that I limit my exposure to them. I make sure that I feel good and rested and happy. And honestly, that is my second priority in my entire life. My third is my business. Because without this business, my life would not go round. Without this business, I would not feel fulfilled. So I want you guys to pick 3 priorities for you to focus on as CEO. So when you wake up, your clarity in the morning is super clear. You're not like, I have piano lessons and karate, and I'm running a 5K, and then I'm doing Girl Scout cookies. And you're like, moms out there, families out there, you can do anything, but you cannot do everything. So we have to pick our priorities when it comes down to being a CEO and to getting serious about changing our lives and changing others. So I've talked about a lot of things there. I want you to get clear on your mission. I want you to get clear on your top 3 priorities. And if you're in push season and in go season right now with your business, the other extracurricular really should not matter right now. Because if you have too many things going on, you won't have the time. You're absolutely right. The dishes in my sink, not important to me right now. If that's important to you, hire someone for minimum wage to come help you or something. Like, hire and delegate so that you can focus on your top 3 priorities. This is actually something Shalene Johnson teaches. She's like, what's the number 1 thing that gets in the way of your business goals? And most people say laundry or whatever. And she's like, that's when you delegate out $10 an hour for someone to help you with it. And they're like, I don't have the $10 an hour. And she says, then you're never going to have the time to grow your business. So it's these little things that go from, I'm just the Beachbody coach who's doing all the things. Chelsea Pearson does this. All the things. I'm so busy. I can't do anything. To, I'm a CEO and here's what I got going on. I have a plan. How many times have we or you heard people say, I need to get organized? We're never going to be organized. You guys should see my desk right now. Don't let this blanket that doesn't match fool you. That's nicely laid out on the bed right now. My sister did that. I didn't do that. I mean, I like to show the chaos, but I also tell people I have priorities. And so they wonder how I do it all. And I don't. I really don't. I just have, my business matters to me. So guys, getting my invites in and inviting people to join my team, that's like, so after I do my top 3 priorities, then I put in bullet points. So in my business priority, what is the most important thing I do? And it's invite to coaching. It's not Success Club, if I'm being honest. Success Club comes along with helping coaches. Success Club comes along with helping people, of course. But for me, when I think as CEO, I want to improve my life, health, happiness, abundance, wealth. And when I say wealth, I'm not being like a jerk, but I do want to live freely, and money equals more freedom for me. So don't think I'm a jerk for talking about that. But okay, I didn't want to go too far to my tangent for that, but I want you guys to get clear on your priorities and where you're going with this. You should know where you want to be in 5 years. And it doesn't have to be, I want to be a 10-star. I'm not asking for your Beachbody goals. I'm asking, what do you want Beachbody to change in your life in 5 years? Maybe it's pay off. I know student debt has been a huge thing for Danielle. That is part of her brand. That is a top priority to her. For me, that wasn't a thing. And so for me, it was like, for me, it's to buy a home in California, which is not cheap. And so that's taking me, like, that's part of my 5-year plan. Okay, let's move on to kind of like my second section here. And I believe, and I learned this from Doug Moss, that we wear 2 hats as coaches. And so it's back to that topic of, you sell Shakeology, I do challenge groups. You and I were Beachbody coaches, first and foremost, of course. That's always going to be the same. But the shift that happens when you become the CEO is when you know how to serve others. So I don't wake up and post on social media for myself anymore. I actually wake up and I post because I know my people need it, my team need it, my followers need it, and someone out there today needs it. I never think about, I shouldn't say I never think about myself, but if I'm being honest, every single post I make on Instagram story is about the person watching me and what they need to hear. Okay, like today I did an Instagram story talking about how I missed a whole week of workouts. And I'm okay with that, even though our vital behaviors are do your workout and drink your shake. But I also like to be real and relatable and tell people, I took this week off. Okay? I don't want you guys to strive for perfection as a CEO. I want you to strive for dedication. My following knows that I'm dedicated. They know that I'm a hard worker. They know that I will show up, but I can also take a break. And so I serve my audience and letting them know that they do not need to be perfect. And here's my kid screaming, and here's like poop all over me while I'm changing a diaper in the car on a road trip. You know, like I talk about the real things. And if you don't have diapers and poop, like lucky you, but you have something in your life that makes it real. If you guys work full time, what do you do before you go to work in the morning? I need to see that. I need to see what you guys are eating, drinking, doing, thinking. What's the first thing that popped into your mind? How are you feeling today? So don't think you need to be full-time coach to make this work in a big way. I want to know how you're staying happy, healthy, focused, and motivated with your full-time job. Like I'm sure all of you were attracted to Danielle's business if you joined her specifically as a sponsor because she is getting results, she's still working and doing coaching full-time. So even if you're part-time, you still need to be full-time to part-time. Does that make sense? So even if you're like, oh, this is like a hobby for me, you can't half-ass part-time. That won't work because that kind of cancels it out. And so you want to be fully dedicated to your part-time, which is why you need super specific business hours. And of course, there's leeway in there. Example, I didn't work out this week. There's always going to be room to be flexible. And so think about how can you serve others on your journey. That's going to help you stand out and go from diamond and beyond, or from coach to diamond and beyond. So there's a couple things that I always talk about when you're going from being an employee to an entrepreneur, because most of us have only been employees, just like I was back in the day. And for a lot of us, there's this box, and Danielle's an architect. Her box is so specific. She can't make a squiggly line. She's got to always make a straight line. Otherwise the building falls over, right? So there's this box that Danielle has to stay in. There's really not, I mean, obviously this is kind of ironic. There's creativity in architecture, but there's also this box that she has to follow. And in most employee jobs, they're like, show up from 9 to 5, don't work overtime. Or show up from 11 to 7 and don't be late, and we need you to leave on time. My job never wanted overtime. They didn't want to pay us overtime. Or you can only wear this and you can only say this. It's very much in the box. So when you become an entrepreneur, if you think about it, it's like, hi, you signed up to be a Beachbody coach, now go. And people are like, where's the box? They're flailing around. So I want you guys to get comfortable with you're not failing, you're flailing. And it's kind of like Danielle signed you up and threw you in a dark room. And she's like, okay, bye, see you later. Not literally, of course, she's there to support you. But inside, we kind of feel like we're locked in a dark room and we don't know what to do. The successful entrepreneurs will stand up and they will walk around in the dark until they find the light switch and go, this makes sense now. So the next time that you feel like something is not going well or I don't get it, I want you to think of that stupid little vision exercise I just gave you and remember that if you continue to stand up and walk around and try new things, you will find the light switch and it will make sense. That's the only way to become a successful entrepreneur. My husband and I like to watch, he's really big into like Red Bull mountain biking and like BMX and stuff like that. And I love when they interview these guys because I'm obsessed with champions. I'm obsessed with Olympians. And I love, like, I want to watch their life. And when you watch them behind the scenes, what are they doing? Training, talking about falling. They're cutting their jeans open. They're getting back on the bike. And I get obsessed with watching them. And they said that failure is part of success. And I think in this business, sometimes we want it to be like these really cute, like BFF Instagram photos, when really your knees are bleeding or you fell off your bike 10 times. And we don't talk about that always. And so that's when I go on my leader pages and when I do calls, like with Christina Delgado, tomorrow I have a mastermind with her at 8:30 in the morning. Like, she's going to chew us up and spit us out, and it makes us bigger and better because we're strong entrepreneurs. She's of course going to be really nice too. But I'm saying, like, when you become that CEO and make that decision to say, I want to go above and beyond, think about what the Olympian athletes, what their coaches are whispering to them and saying to them during their training. They're not like, okay, now let's go. Like, no, they're rigid, they're tough, right? They're strong. So that flailing around is an amazing thing in my eyes. So that's a mindset you have to adopt as going from employee to entrepreneur. Think of that box. You need to live happily outside of the box as an entrepreneur. And normally as an employee, you're told what to do. Show up, here's your binder, here's your orientation packet. And essentially we tell you what to do too, but there's a lot of gray area. Okay, so what happens when I talk to this person? You know, there's conversations. Those are all so unique and different. Get used to being told what to do by yourself. Like, I can't call Danielle, or if she's my coach, every 5 seconds and ask her how to do something. I hope you guys don't do that, because we want you to be strong, independent leaders. I can't call my upline and, oh, one of my diamonds quit. And, you know, this is the kind of stuff that happens in our world as an entrepreneur. And maybe I'm just old school, tough love, old fashioned. But again, my obsession with Olympians and champions, that's where I get it from. I was a gymnast back in the day. And man, those gymnasts on the Summer Olympics, how badass are they? Like, that's what everyone wants to watch on the Summer Olympics. They do things that we don't know how their body does it. They do and twirl, and it's insane to me. And I used to do gymnastics. I was never that good, but I know what it takes. And so that's what I'm willing to do. Don't think of trading time for money. So a lot of like husbands or partners will be like, you've been putting in a lot of time. Where's the money? You don't trade time for money. So you can tell them, hey, one of my coaches said that. We don't trade time for money here. It's really about your effort, your personal growth, and your diligence and your tenacity to keep showing up. Part of my story that I kind of forgot to share with you guys is, 2.5 years into coaching, it's December. I'd just been married, and I'd quit my full-time or my part-time job to do coaching full-time. And my husband was diagnosed with testicular cancer. And it was insane because we were so young. And it's one of those things that happen in life that you hear stories of, people losing jobs, cancer. Like, there's always those stories on the internet, right? In our own coach communities. And you're just like, wow, I can't imagine. And then you get like a phone call or a message, and that kind of stuff happens. And I had the decision to be a Beachbody coach and to say, I'm going to put this on the back burner, or I had to make the decision to be a CEO and show up. Like, the CEO of Starbucks doesn't get to not show up if something happens in his life. You have to find a way to keep going. And if I'm being honest, and I hope this isn't like rude to anyone, but when hard things happen in life, I want you guys to use coaching as an amazing gift. Because what happens when I stop working out? Feel like crap. What happens when I stop showing up to team calls? I'm missing something. When I stop doing my PD, I'm really missing something. When I stop helping other people, my mission is not being fulfilled, because this is what I love and this is what makes me feel like I'm serving. That's that CEO mentality. I want you to know that hard things will happen in your coach career. And I hope that it's not the things that have happened to me, but something is always bound to happen. And you have to make that decision of, how serious are you to show up and serve others? And my challengers were like, how are you showing up? My team was like, how are you doing it? And I said, I'm making a decision, a conscious effort to keep showing up. And so I got a gym membership at a local gym, and I did hammer and chisel at that time with my little iPad in front of people during everything. We moved in with my in-laws. Like, it was really, really, really hard. But I made that conscious decision that I needed this and I wanted it. And so I hope that you guys see coaching as something that can fill your cup rather than be something else on your plate. Because I don't know if I had not have taken, is that correct English? If I hadn't taken coaching as serious as I had, it saved us. I mean, Sean obviously wasn't able to work. Like, what would I have done? I have no idea. So Oh, the last thing about employee to entrepreneur. You have to make sure that you understand what it is to be mentored, to be the mentoree. When Danielle is giving constructive criticism, or when you're sitting here being mentored by people on calls, we aren't trying to ever tear you down. We're just being honest in a way that we want to bring you up. Because I think sometimes we like to be soft and cute and buttery, and we want to butter things up because we want people to join us and do things. But then once the hard work gets here, then that's when we lose people. So be open and willing to be mentored by people. You can also have what's called a silent mentor. So I haven't worked with Danielle directly much, to be honest. We are going to hear coming up, which is exciting. But I know that I kind of have been a silent mentor to her, so she says, by her watching me do those hard things. And that's amazing and beautiful, because that's exactly what I want. I want people to push forward. I don't need like the recognition or the validation, but when it comes up and they tell me, I'm like, good. Because I know, girl, what that feels like when you're in those moments of struggle. And I don't ever want anyone to say down in the hole. I don't allow myself to use the word depressed. And someone might not like that, because I've been depressed before when I lost my job, my boyfriend, all that stuff. I know what it feels like to lay in the bed and be like, I'm so ill. I'm physically and emotionally and mentally ill. But the difference is between doing depressed things, which involves staying in bed, or making the decision to put your feet on the ground and take one step into the shower. And then you put some makeup on, or you brush your hair, and it's just taking those difficult steps to move forward. I forget why I was saying that. Oh yeah, silent mentor. I watched all of my favorite coaches like Amy Silverman, Christina Delgado, Chelsea Pearson go through the hard, and that inspired me. I'm really lucky to be immersed in the Beachbody culture. I know a lot of these successful coaches because I haven't just put my blinders on and been like, I'm too scared. Oh, they're so much better than me. I made the decision to see myself and all these successful people as even, and I strive to be like them. It's not I wish to be like them, I strive, and I see them showing up, so that makes me want to show up. Okay, 5:38, cool. Is it cool if I go a little bit more? Okay, I don't know how long your calls usually are. So I like to talk about going from Beachbody coach to CEO. This is going to be some really good tangible stuff for you guys. So that was kind of like my rah-rah cheerleader, Tony Robbins, stuff. Now I want to be Brendan Burchard for a second and share 5 skills. Have you guys ever heard the 5 skills before? I got it from Pat Ryleman. It's not mine. I have to give him the credit. So the 5 skills to becoming a CEO. And he doesn't label it as that, but that's what I kind of labeled it as, because people say, he's basically like a Keith Callahan. He is a male in this business who crushes it, and he's in the Million Club. But he's also very kind of behind the scenes. And so people often ask him, what are you doing? So he teaches 5 skills, and I like to add on to becoming the CEO. So for those of you that are pushing for Diamond, this is awesome for you. Okay, skill number 1, and the key here is to know that these are skills that you sharpen. You don't just sign up and become a Beachbody coach and say, I need this skill, how do I find it? You fine tune it and you sharpen it by flailing around a lot. So the first skill is social media. That is so key. It's kind of funny that Pat Ryleman says social media, because I know that he probably has grown 50% of his business on social media. He's not like, Keith Callahan is like almost non-existent on growing his business on social media. Back in the day, 9-10 years ago when he joined, he was very belly to belly, inviting to the old school meetings and stuff. But right now, it's 2018. Social media, maybe the skill will change later, but you have to know how to share your message. And this is perfect because I was sharing with you guys, you must serve. So if I went to your social media right now, would I see that you drank your shake and did your workout and is playing what I call the me song? Or are you sharing vision? Are you sharing how you want to help people? Are you sharing a daily breakthrough? Are you sharing what you've learned so that you can transfer it to other people? So when I read Christina Delgado's posts, or when I read other coaches' posts that I look up to, it's not just like, hey, check out my new booty, right? We get so much more. The word value can confuse people because people are often like, what kind of value can I offer? And then they get stuck in this self-confidence trap. But I want you guys to know that PD is like, I'll know if a coach is doing PD. I can go to anyone's social media right now and be like, that chick's not doing PD. And I will say this, Emily Favre spoke on my team call, and she barely does PD. But you guys heard her story on stage at Summit, right? To me, that's PD. Experiences and life struggles, which is why I encourage you guys to flail around and welcome the hard into your life. Because if I didn't go through what I went through in the last 5 years, between losing job and all the other things I just talked about, I know I would not be well equipped for this job because it's hard. And so welcome the hard things. The next time something falls in your lap and is really difficult, I want you to say, thank you, Colleen, because I just remembered that this is going to be awesome. Obviously, you're not going to say that, but you have to have some kind of perspective like that. So social media right now, your goal, like when you're on Instagram on that Explore page and when you're scrolling, what kind of photos do you like? What kind of photos stop you and have you admire them? This is the way you have to start to think as an entrepreneur. Don't copy anyone, but it's great to get inspiration. I'm the most awkward, like, selfie taker, poser. Like, my team is so good at it. At my team retreat, I was like this awkward little bird. I'm like, what do I do? And so I look at Instagram for inspiration of how to step up my game. So just know that social media will always be ever evolving. Instagram is really honestly where it's at right now, because that's where the world of social media wants us to be. Like, it used to be Facebook. Now they're like shoving everyone to Instagram. And I don't know where I'd be without it. So I don't want to spend time teaching social media, but know that this is a skill you must sharpen. I like to teach hypnotic writing. If you guys want to know what hypnotic writing is, maybe just go stalk my social media a little bit and you'll get the feel for, I'm talking about emotions and feelings. And it should compel someone to either leave a comment, to like, or to reach out to you. So hypnotic writing is not just the me song, it's helping inspire someone else to get off their ass, pretty much. And so I use buzzwords. I've talked about postpartum. I've talked about, my favorite word is vibrancy, abundance. I talk about what I want other people to feel, and I'm basically spoon feeding that to them, giving them hope. One of my favorite coaches, she's not really coaching anymore. I think she's far beyond Beachbody coaching. She's just so talented. But she spoke on my team call back in the day, and she said, we're hope lenders. We really do lend hope out to people to know that they can have happiness, health, and wealth if you enjoy working that into your brand. And wealth to me isn't like rolling in my Ferrari. You know, wealth to me is waking up and taking a deep breath and knowing that my bills are paid and that I'm doing good work. That's wealth to me. Okay, so that was skill number 1. Skill number 2, you have to sharpen your skill on finding new people and talking to them. So that's kind of together. Finding, and back in the day we called it forming. Now we call it connecting, whatever. That is a skill. You can't just sit in this business and say, I don't know how to find people. Well, girlfriend, you have to sharpen that skill. Cough, cough, hashtags. Like, I don't know why coaches overcomplicate it. It's like we are handing you the world of people via hashtags all over the world, and you will figure it out if you're willing to sharpen that skill. And there's so many trainings out there right now on that. You also have to sharpen the skill on how you start a conversation. I don't want to hear you don't know how to start a conversation, because you're human, you have a mouth. Maybe go into a coffee shop, right? And what do you say to like the girl standing in front of you? And if you're introverted, this is my little spiel on, just because you're introverted, it's not a disease. My most successful coach is introverted, and like that's her whole brand. All her team is introverted. They are crushing Success Club 20 plus on my Success Club board because they've studied what an introvert is and does, and they talk about it on social media. And you get to hide behind a screen in this business. You know what I mean? Like, this is an introvert's dream. So don't let that be like your disease, okay? You can start conversations with people, and this is where you step out of your comfort zone and flail around with starting conversations. Also, make sure you ask your coach. Send some screenshots and be like, Danielle, I'm really struggling with the starting conversations. How does this feel? How does this look? And that's when we work together. That's what I do with my coaches, and it really works. So finding and forming is skill number 2. The third skill that you have to sharpen is inviting and following up. So guys, if you're going for diamond and you're going big in this business, it's not just the 4 vital behaviors. I'm sorry. It's the 4 vital behaviors 2.0. Okay, when you make that shift into I want to just be more than getting my Shakeology. So those vital behaviors get you to where you need to go, but you have to always add layers of depth onto your business. So basically I'm talking about vital behaviors, but I'm constructing it in a way that you have to do a little bit more. So inviting and following up are huge, because some people are like, when do I invite? How do I invite? And then they just get stuck in this cycle of, I don't know how to invite. So they don't. And then that means your business doesn't grow and we're not changing lives. So following up is super easy. I don't know why people overcomplicate it. My follow-up system, and to be honest, my tracking, everyone's like, how do you track? I this year used an Erin Condren planner, but I hadn't before. I had used like a Blue Sky Target planner, but the Erin Condren did work for me this year. And so when I talk to a girl and then I invite her and she's interested, I write her name down. And there's names. And so I have coaches and I have challengers. I don't write someone's name down just because I invited them. That doesn't make me happy. Like, I don't need to know that I checked a box on an invite today. I need to know who's interested and who do I need to track. Whatever system is going to work for you, but don't get freaked out about tracking. That's honestly been mine for I just hit 5 years as a coach. And I just go back and I do a check mark or cross them out when they sign up, and I just roll people over to following up. And here's my message. Hey, Danielle, I know we chatted last month and it wasn't the right time for you, or you were saving up. Whatever their objection is, I put it in there. I just wanted to circle back with you for my August Manifest Your Best group that I have. And I don't just stop there. I say, here's what we're doing this month. And this is where I know my tribe. I know that they need to take care of themselves first, because as moms, they forget. Or I'm helping moms overcome the excuse of, I don't have the time, I don't have the energy. That's what I want to give you. Let me know if you want me to send you the details. I'd love to have you in my group. So I'm hitting the feels. It's kind of hypnotic writing in an invite, talking to my tribe of what I know they need. And I'm just like kind of hey girling them, just circling back to see if you're interested in this month. Here's what I have to offer. Again, serving, right? Always serving. Let me know if you want the details. And I like to or sometimes I'll say, are you interested in joining us this month? To be honest, I personally find more luck with the let me know if you want the details, because it's kind of like this barrier of like, I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no, but I want details. So I always get a response to that personally. Skill number 4 is give an amazing experience. This one is important, because this is where I find a lot of my coaches don't hit Success Club and they get stuck at Diamond, because they're just like, hey girl, I'm running a challenge group on August 18th. Do you want to join? Hell freaking no, I don't want to join your challenge group. That's how you invite me. So we have to share the love, because I genuinely love talking to people and I love what I do. And if you guys are like Beachbody lovers like me and you love these products, make it sound like it. Make sure people know your infectious passion and excitement for this. If you're a brand new coach on this call or listening to this later, know that I grew my business with no Zoom calls and training. It was off passion and excitement. People they needed what I had because I was so excited about it. So learn to give an amazing experience. And I did spend time putting things together, like little extra videos, teaching people what I know. If someone is going to sign up with me, I make sure that they kind of get some type of freebie. Sometimes it's an extra like mindset group. Sometimes it's a video I've recorded. Sometimes I've done shaker cups. I just like to give them a little incentive and a little thank you, because there are people out there selling things that just want to sell the thing. And not that I don't like prizes. You will never see me hit Success Club for a hat, or although the hat is adorable, but like, it's just not my love language. I don't care about the hat or the t-shirt. I'm going to do it anyway. So it was really hard for me to get excited about like giving someone a gift, because it's not my love language. But damn, there's people out there who are like, want to be a part of whatever I'm giving away. I've done in Canva, like a free, like my top 5 tips to living happy as a mom, like just get creative and have fun. It will take you 10 minutes to make. Okay, and skill number 5 is you must sharpen the skill of introducing the coaching opportunity. That one is huge. Most coaches are like, who do I invite? When do I invite? How many times do I invite? all valid questions. There's no right or wrong answer. I just want you to find a system that works for you and fail through it. I've been doing this 5 years. It's 2018. My system that happened when I was a diamond coach is clearly very different than what it is now, and it's forever changing. Guys, when I got pregnant with Nixon, I had to stop working out at 28 weeks. I was known as the hardcore ab fitness girl, and obviously when you're 28 weeks pregnant, you're not known as that. And I thought I'd be working out, but pregnancy was awful for me. I love you, Nixon, but no, it was awful for me. And my postpartum recovery was awful. And I was like, what do I do? I had to completely relearn how to serve my tribe, and it was freaking hard. I was hitting Success Club 6 some months during my pregnancy, but I refused to give up, and I refused to not help people. And although I feel like I had more conversations than I ever have, I'm so happy I got through that part, because 2018 has been some of the highest Success Club that I've hit in a long time. Success Club 22, that's really high for me. I usually go for quality over quantity. So now this year I'm really excited and so happy that I figured it out, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so back to the sharpening your fifth skill, you have to figure out what your flow of introducing the coaching opportunity is going to be. My personal presentation is every day on Instagram stories and every day in a post. Just about, you know what I mean? If you go to my social media, you're going to see that I invite to coaching more than I talk about challenge groups, because that's my passion. I invite probably 80% business, 20% challenge groups. That's just my personal take on it. I know it's easy to invite to challenge groups, and there's actually some of our top coaches that are my best friends in this business, they only do challenge group invites, and that's where they get their coaches from. That doesn't work for me because it doesn't bring me joy. I like the business aspect. Clearly, I'm here talking about CEO stuff. So obviously that's my passion. So just make the decision of what your flow is going to be and promise me that you'll sharpen that skill of where and how are you going to introduce the coaching opportunity. Because even if you don't do it like I do with the business up front, you eventually need to tell your challengers about it if you're going to do it the other way. So I wanted to leave room for questions. So that's my spiel of kind of going from employee to entrepreneur and coach to CEO. Yes, I was just looking at the comments. I can't look at them while I'm talking because I get squirrel brain, but it does take 10,000 hours to master. And people always ask me, how many hours did you work in the beginning? I'm like, you don't want to know. I'm not telling you. Because I spent every waking moment for 2.5 years with this door closed that I possibly could. And I worked at the nightclub until 4 a.m. on the weekends, and it was rough. So yeah. Okay. What Super Saturday am I going to? So I live in a very sad Beachbody area. I have tried so hard to help this area. I have hosted Super Saturdays in Reno, which is about an hour away. I've done Sacramento, which is 2.5 hours away, 2 hours away. And this area is just so spread out. There's no coaches in San Francisco. There's no coaches in NorCal, but then there's Oregon, and then there's some in, even SoCal is very sparse down there. Which you would think California fitness, Beachbody's in freaking Santa Monica, but it's just weird. People just want to play in California. They're just on another level. But to answer your question, what is it, October? I might go down to Sacramento. I actually was possibly going to Wisconsin, but I'm not. So I said I need no travel for a little bit. Oh, you're going to Sacramento too? That's what Danielle's saying? Or I don't know. That's what you were saying.
We have a good coach presence in Colorado, so they're kind of far from different ones too, but they're going to Utah, so she was curious.
Cool. Yeah, it's super spread out here. And I actually have one of my diamonds is in Denver. Jen Miller. I don't know if you guys are near there. Oh my God, there's a huge fly in here. Disgusting.
It's funny that you said, so if you guys have any questions, throw them in the chat or unmute yourself. I don't want to take y'all's time.
I usually always say, you guys have to ask me questions after I get all hyped up and give you an hour of my time. That's the promise, is that you will give me questions.
Well, I was going to say, it's funny that you said, where do you want to be in 5 years? Because Rachel and I literally talked about that yesterday. And I was thinking about it on the flight home. I was like, normally in corporate, when does your boss ask you, where do you want to be in 5 years? Never. I don't know. So it's good to be thinking about those things.
Yeah. And so the biggest thing for me, while you guys think of a question. Oh, okay, here we go. What would be your top PD recommendations? So is it Katie? Or is it Katie? Sorry.
Katie.
Katie, okay. Katie, type in the chat box, how long have you been a coach and where are you at? Because I feel like I can't give everyone the same, but I'm really good at kind of gauging what people need. For like a newer coach, you can tell me, but I'll tell you, newer coaches, I still like You Are a Badass because I feel like that book is anyone can read it and get the point. You know, it doesn't matter where they're at in their life, and it's really empowering for people. And that's the kind of stuff social media likes, like in your face kind of stuff right now, all of those funny memes. So Jen Sincero really speaks to our millennial tribe right now. For a new business book, I tell them The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster by Darren Hardy. So those are typically the top 2 picks. But then 3 months as a coach in Emerald, congratulations. So I normally, if you were my coach, I would say, what do you need to hear? What do you want to learn? Let's say you lacked confidence. I would make a recommendation for that. And to be honest, I think that the confidence building comes from a mix of reading, but also comes from a mix of experience. And so I tell my coaches to follow other coaches that inspire them, that are living the life that you are dreaming up, and you need to live in their shoes. And so forms of PD don't just have to be with your nose in a book or listening to a podcast or listening to a video, because it's so easy to just listen and drop it. And so experience is super huge. I want you guys to like read something or invest in an event or do something that you haven't done before. But I'm always on tangents, but my favorite book that really changed things for me was The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. That was a huge book for me, but you have to be open to understanding that your entire life is dictated by you and your brain. Like, it's you talking to yourself in your head, because we're freaking crazy humans. And it's like, there's no like handcuffs on you. There's no one like locking you in a room, I hope, and telling you that you can't do all these things. It's really you and your mind. And so I think all the mindset books is really what helped me burst through the brick walls that got placed in front of me in my life, through coaching and just like personal stuff. So the magic, and then the 10X rule by Grant Cardone. I've been recommending that book for years because that's what I read during Sean's treatment, and that was awesome. I actually just got this book today in the mail. It's called Unleash Your Badass Business, the Ultimate Workbook for Manifesting the Money and Life You Crave. Just type in on Amazon, Unleash Your Badass Business. And I already started like a good girl all my exercises. And I like it because it does have some coloring in there too. You don't want to see my coloring, but it's just very self-reflective. And so she's talking about how to face like your issues and fear around making money, because that's a block for a lot of people. And it like hurt to write this because she makes you do the work, you know? And so I like workbook kind of stuff. So I will recommend that to you guys. And one more book recommendation. I've heard the audio is good. I'm not an audio person because I love to write in my books and I take notes and I just like go crazy. But High Performance Habits. But Brendan Burchard is just my jam. So I know I already said that at the beginning. Go to Super Saturday, yes. I'll take one more question if you guys want. I know I've been blabbing your ear.
What else you guys got? You can unmute yourself. Speechless.
I don't bite, I promise. You might think I do, but.
All right. Well, I don't want to keep you, Colleen.
Okay.
But thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And you guys are going to be seeing more of Colleen because her and myself and another girl on our larger team, Jessica, are going to be working on something super special, hopefully for September.
Yeah.
And we're really excited about it. I'm super proud of you guys. Let's finish this last week of qualification. We are so, so close. And let's finish the month strong. Right? You just got so much mindset work. So go use it, go put it to work. And thank you for your time, Colleen. We so appreciate it.
You are welcome. All right, ladies. See you later. Thanks for having me.
Bye, guys.